Hello everyone, I'm Barbara Freitas and we are broadcasting one more press conference. This one is a very expected one. Why? Because this will talk about the Pope's agenda during his stay in WYD Day in Panama 2019. Today we'll have present in this press room, besides the journalists from Panama and from other countries, we're having the presence of the apostolic nuncio, the papal nuncio, the Archbishop Jose Domingo Ulloa Mendieta, Mr. Victor Chang, and other representatives of the government. We invite you to keep on this press conference with us on this streaming and to accompany the news about the presence of the Holy Father in our Panamanian land. So, welcome you all. We will interpret this press conference to English and keep updated. We present those who are at the main table. Mr. Isabel de Saint Malo de Alvaro, Most Reverend Archbishop Miroslav, Papal Nuncio of the Holy See in Panama, Most Reverend Monsignor Jose Domingo Ulloa, Archbishop of Panama and President of the Local Organizing Committee, Mr. Omar Pinzon, Vice Minister of Security, Director of the Executive Support Department, Mr. Victor Chang, Executive Secretary of the Local Organizing Committee of World Youth Day, Coordinator of the Papal Visit on behalf of the Church. So we start with the words of the Papal Nuncio. Good morning. Good afternoon. The last July 9th, we shared with you and with the whole world that we rejoiced on knowing that Pope Francis had accepted the invitation of the local government and of the Panamanian bishops to visit this country during World Youth Day in 2019. Today, there is a new joy in this publication by the side of this Holy See of the program of the Holy Father that he will do during his visit next year when he comes here to gather with the young adults from all over the world. Full of gratitude, we inform that Pope Francis will leave Rome to come to Panama in 23rd January 2019 in a flight from Alitalia, and he will arrive in the international airport of Tocumen in the same day at 4:30 p.m., where there the Holy Father will meet the chief of states and all the authorities of the governmental authorities and the members of the church in Panama. The Pope Francis will come from Tocumen and he will go to the apostolic nunciature that will be his house in Panama. And from there, the Holy Father will rest during all his stay in the territory of Panama. The agenda of Pope has in its base and in its main ideas for him to meet the young adults, including all those who are coming to World Youth Day, and as well as all Panamanian people who live in this country. He comes as a pastor of the Universal Church to reinforce the importance of faith and the following God's guidance in the church. So our Bishop, Monsignor Jose Domingo Ulloa, will talk. Thank you, Nuncio, for your words. According to the papal agenda, the Holy Father will arrive in our country by the airlines of Alitalia and this airline has become a regional airline. In this case, we'll have also Avianca helping us on this way for him to come to Panama. On Thursday, 24th, we'll have a ceremony of welcoming that the President of the Republic of Panama will receive him. In the same morning, Pope Francis will have a meeting with the national authorities and the diplomatic corps and the representatives of the society in the Palacio Bolívar, located in the Ministry of the Foreign Relations. These first acts of attention to the Holy Father, to take care of the Holy Father, the government will be in charge of taking care of the Holy Father here. And in the afternoon of the same day, the Pope will have a meeting with the bishops of Central America and Panama. There will be more than 70 bishops. Then the next event will be the ceremony of welcoming and opening of World Youth Day in Santa Maria la Antigua field in the Santa Costera. In the following day, Friday, 25th January, it will take place a very special event. The Holy Father will celebrate the penitential liturgy with the young adults who are private, who do not have, they are in the prison. Then in the afternoon of Friday, Pope Francis will meditate the way of the cross with the young adults in the field, in Santa Maria la Antigua field, Santa Costera. Saturday, 25th, 26th, the Archdiocesan Church will wear its better clothes because the Holy Father will preside the Holy Mass with the dedication of the altar of the cathedral, the Basilic Cathedral of Santa Maria la Antigua, which has been a long time closed. And the priests and representatives of the consecrated life and lay people's movements will be all present there. This celebration will be full of enthusiasm and joy. Pope Francis on Saturday 26 will gather with 10 young adults from the 5 continents, with whom he will have a lunch at the major seminary, San Jose. In the afternoon of Saturday, it will take place one of the most important events of World Youth Day, that is, the Vigil. We can announce now, right after all the other places, that this vigil will be celebrated in the San Juan Pablo II field, located in the area of Metro Park, near the Corredor Sur. This place will be the same place of the sending off Mass of World Youth Day, known as the sending off Mass. That is the final Mass that will start at 8 a.m. on Sunday, 27th of January. immediately after the Eucharisty, the Pope will visit
the Good Samaritan home,
located very close to the San Juan Pablo II field, where many young adults will gather with the Holy Father. And this will show the great social works that the Church does. And he will celebrate Angelus with them. In the afternoon of Sunday, 27th, Pope Francis will gather with the thousands of volunteers who during WYD Youth Day could not share with him the meeting during WYD Youth Day. So this meeting will take place at Rommel Fernandez Stadium at 4:30 p.m. After that, Pope Francis will go to Tucumán, and at 6 p.m. there will be the farewell ceremony. The Holy Father and his comitive must arrive in Rome on Monday, 28th January 2019 at 11:50 a.m. As we could observe, we can see that it's a very impressive program. Now that we have had the chance to receive this official information, we are beginning in Panama the final phase and conclusive phase of the preparations to this organization. Soon we'll be announcing more about the details, and we want to share with you the particularities of this program. We thank you for attending and for welcoming the Holy Father. WYD Youth Day is in its way, and together we can bring it forth. And as country, I can say that we are doing the preparation very well, very well. So, from one side to the other of Panama, we want to have all Panamanians here. We are not called to be in our folks, in our own regions, but let's all come here to the city of Panama and to take part in this unique event in our country. Once again, thank you to all of you. And we can already say, welcome, Pope Francis. Thank you, Monsignor. And now we are going to listen to the Vice President, Isabel de Saint-Malo. Thank you. I'm glad to be with you here today. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to have, and it's great to have the final Papa agenda in Panama. It's an event that all of us Panamanian people are rejoicing to have this presence in our country. In the name of the President of the Republic of Panama, I want to say that we are ready and we are full of enthusiasm, and it's a very important visit in our country, one of the most important leaders in the world, something that will be in the history of Panama, a sign of joy and peace and celebration, and to be part of a message that the Pope will give to the youth, and not just to the youth, but everyone. And I cannot forget this. I cannot forget when Monsignor came to me to give the announcement that the bishops of Central America had decided to request the Vatican to host the next World Youth Day. And so for our country, it's very relevant because to know that Panama could host a World Youth Day. And this is great. And we can look at Central America and we see a population, a region that has so many needs and necessities, violence. But beyond this, also the situation that lived the neighbor countries, this humanitarian situations. So it will be great to have the Holy Father here in our country, in this region, to be a sign of peace. And we can put our grain of we can do our efforts to make this World Youth Day. We had already in Latin America, in South America, in Argentina, and in Brazil, but now also in Panama, in Central America, the president has already assumed the invitation and the presence of World Youth Day in this country. So the church had this idea, and we as government, we joined the church in this path. And we are working on the security and everything, transportation that is and we Panamanian people should feel very proud for all the accompaniment that the Panamanian government is doing for World Youth Day. Security is working a lot on it. The migration system and migration departments are also got an approval of a protocol, and specifically to massive events, not just for World Youth Day. It will be first tried in World Youth Day, but then all these things will stay in Panama after World Youth Day. And so we receive this World Youth Day full of joy. And all these things, we hope that everything will work well during World Youth Day. So we share the joy, a joy to receive the message of the Pope. So, from the side of the government, and in the name of all Panamanian people, I thank you, Monsignor José Domingo Ulloa, for bringing us into this. Now the journalists can ask their questions. And we ask to limit your questions on the announcement of the Pope's agenda. Question. The Panamanian people who are not participating in World Youth Day as pilgrims, how can they participate in World Youth Day? How can they enter, and how we guarantee the security in the places? The bishop answered, I've learned a lot to be in leading this organization, so I'll pass the word to Victor, because not all of us serve to everything. But I've learned many things, and I tell Victor to answer this question. Thank you, Monsignor. Talking about the participation in the massive events, we'll have places for the registered pilgrims, and we'll have places for the entire people of Panama and who are not registered. And as Monsignor said in his words, this is an event for all Panamanian people. About the areas of access, we'll have entrances for the registered pilgrims and areas for the entrance of the other people. Talking about the theme of security, the state can also answer us about these things. Yeah, thank you. Effectively, and we need to announce, once we create the decree of support to the local organizing committee, we have tasks of work that we are planning to do, that we'll talk about each day that represents World Youth Day. Was made a plan for each day of World Youth Day. The theme of security in the department we are working on, we will share all these plans that will be about 24 plans of security, and everything will be shared with you. But I can say that we are ready to receive World Youth Day, and we are in the final steps. That means training and everything to be TVN Noticias to talk about this plan of mobility. Will there be public transportation, free transportation? Well, there are some questions that I can say that it's a merit question. We have designed in this process the specific areas that will be definitely segregated to exclusive use of World Youth Day, like Cuba Avenue, Peru Avenue. We have the plans of the routes, and there be also change of routes, it may be. But I feel very quiet and very calm that we are working with the representatives of MIBUS, Metro Panama, of the authorities of terrain transportation, and all these people are working with us. Some parkings, and all this plan of mobility includes we'll have, besides these routes, we'll have other types of routes. I cannot talk about the whole thing, but we are giving instructions to all the people who are attending to give us support in this. And we'll share this in the social media and web pages to talk about the work, and all the people who are working on it, all the teams who are doing its efforts. And we need the cooperation of all pilgrims and citizens who will be working and participating in World Youth Day. I can say that it's a challenge, but we can tell that this is in the hands of the whole country. Good afternoon. Metro Libre. Is there a special plan on medical attention and the recollection of trash? The Committee of Health, together with the local organizing committee, we have detailed that in each place we will have a personnel of emergency. We'll have the firemen, Sinapro, and the governmental services, and all hospitals, public and private hospitals. We can say that the local organizing committee is also going to talk about the plan of collecting the trash around the city from both sides of Panama and the local organizing committee. We're going to work together on this. The bishop says, to go deeper in the question, it would be great to have all of us have it very clear. The pilgrim will take use of the national healthy system. Once a pilgrim is registered, he or she has insurance covered during his stay in Panama. Talking about trash, the challenge of trash, because it's a challenge. It's part of the church committee that motivate all parishes, that in each parish we motivate the people in this. In each parish we have ecological teams to motivate this, to teach the young adults to collect and to take care of the ecology. In all this preparation of World Youth Day, we are working on the Laudato Si, the encyclical of Pope Francis, and we are going to talk about the care of the common home. So, be the local people and the people who are coming from other countries, let's grow in this conscience, this awareness of taking care of the ecology and taking care of the common home. And there are some people, the Chancellery are preparing a place also for bringing this awareness, and all the sides around Panama will work on this. And this is a great challenge that we have in Panama, and we need to say that we will convert ourselves in little ants.
También, ¿qué dice el Vaticano? Ya faltan 2 meses para la Jornada Mundial de la Juventud. Y por último, ¿cuántas familias
how many families are registered to welcome the pilgrims? Well, talking about I can say that we are suspending all types of licenses for carnivals and national celebrations. This is the commitment that we as a nation need to have. And we'll have the national security, national policemen, and all the unities and everybody in charge of security will be working on the security. It's important to sign that this does not limit and it does not change the service of the public services. There is the talking about what the Holy See says. We can talk about what we lived in the Synod. What is most important of us before the youth, to be able to listen to them. In words of the Holy Scripture, we can say that we need young people who dream and elders who make memory, who prophesize. And I'm convinced that the changes that the church needs nowadays goes hand in hand with the young people, giving opportunities, real opportunities to them, not false opportunities. They are the protagonists in doing and transforming the church in the world. Talking about the families, we have more than 112,000 families. Places for pilgrims. 112,000 places for pilgrims. We know that the Pope likes to visit the peripheries of the world. In this case of World Youth Day in Panama, was an initiative of his, yes? And why? Yes, this says the bishop. Yes, because he has always told us in the preparation of this trip, where does the Pope go? He goes to the peripheries, and he wants to meet, he said he wants to meet the young people who cannot be present in the main event of World Youth Day, especially those who are who do not have freedom. So the Holy Father decided to go there because these young people cannot share with the other young people from the other more than 100 countries who will be here. So on Sunday, we'll be sharing with the social works that give an answer to the pain of the world. The Pope will arrive in the region in a special moment. Will he talk about this humanitarian crisis and this the violence that we face here in America? I'm sure that the paternal feeling of the Holy Father and this reality of migration, if it punches the world, if it destroys the world, it destroys mainly the young people. And I'm sure the Holy Father will enlighten the reality, because the Holy Father just does what he does is to enlighten. And then we give the answers, the responses for these problems that our society and young people, migrations, these issues of migrations face. Not just in our region, but in our everyday life. And this is a worldwide themes and issues. And it's an issue that the Holy Father will touch and talk about, but also us in the catechesis that we will have with the bishops during the days of World Youth Day and of days in the diocese. You will talk about it as well. Do you already have the number of pilgrims who will come to our country and the number of volunteers who are registered? Yep, says Victor. The registration of pilgrims will be until WYD Day. We have 260,000 pilgrims in phase 1, and there are people who are step by step confirming their participation. There are more than 30,000 volunteers registered in WYD Day. All these numbers of volunteering and families, host families, are... Last question. We're going to have the final picture. We have just finished this press conference, and the great news, one of the most expected news about the Pope's visit in our country, in Panama. I'm here with Jamie Lin, coordinator of international press, and she's going to talk a little bit about the visits of the Pope in this country.
So, as Barbara has said, they have just announced the official agenda for Pope Francis and his visit to Panama for World Youth Day. He will arrive at 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday, January 23rd, at the main airport here in Panama City, the Tucumán Airport. He will then go to the apostolic nunciature where he will stay, and there will be an official welcome there for him at 4:50 p.m. The next day, on Thursday, January 24th, he will be received in a welcoming ceremony at the Presidential Palace of the Republic. At 10 a.m., he will visit the president, and he will also be meeting with authorities and diplomatic corps and the representatives of the Panamanian society. At 11:15, there will be a meeting with the Central American bishops. At 5:30, there will be the official welcoming at the Cinto Costera at the Santa Maria Natigua Park. On Friday, January 25th, he will meet with young people, prisoners at the Juvenile Detention Center here in Panama City. And there he will have a reconciliation liturgy. He will be hearing confessions of prisoners, young people imprisoned there at the detention center. He will take a helicopter transport to the Apostolic Nunciature, and then at 5:30 in the evening, there will be the Way of the Cross. On Saturday, January 26th, there will be the Holy Mass at the newly renovated Cathedral Basilica here, where he will dedicate the altar. And then he will meet for lunch with representatives, young people from all the continents at the major seminary here in Panama City. And then he will join all of the youth together at the youth vigil out at the field at St. John Paul II Field. Finally, on Sunday at 8 a.m., he will have Mass also at the field with the young people. And then he will travel to the Good Samaritan Home. The Good Samaritan Home is a place for people suffering with HIV and AIDS who are being taken care of. He will meet there with them, and he will also have the Angelus prayer there with members of some other charitable organizations in Panama. At 4:30, he will meet with all of the volunteers, and at 6 p.m., there will be a farewell ceremony at the airport for him. The flight departs back to Rome at 6:15, at 6:15 on Saturday, January 27th. Thanks.
Right, Jamie, thanks a lot. So if you have not registered, be it as press, international press, national press, we invite you to register in Panama2019.pa. And don't lose your time. The Pope is going to have a nice agenda here in this country, and you are invited. to participate with us. As family, as one church, as one heart, as one body, let's live this experience together. To know more information about the Pope's agenda, we invite you to access the official website of World Youth Day, the social media, and to know more about it. Panama 2019 in the social media, panama2019.pa, the official web page. Register as a pilgrim, register as a press, and come here to Panama to live this experience. See you next time. See you in Panama. God bless you.